podcast. That's right, produce people. We're back live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And today we have a very special guest. No, I'm just kidding. It's not the, I would say the squirrel with the nut. No, it's not. But we do have a company that is going to be here today that's going to represent the produce industry. And guess what, everyone? They are in the produce industry. So our live stream today is going to be with Stuckey's. But before we get into this, we're going to bring our sponsor on the show for today, John Green Logistics, Miss Maddie Fisher.
Hi, Patrick.
What's happening?
Everyone, good to be back again.
Listen, the live streams that we are doing, you are like the co-host of all the live streams. That's what I love about this. You're helping out, which is cool. I mean, the podcast started 2 years ago, April 1st. It's crazy because we were supposed to have this event on April 1st. We all had some scheduling conflicts, so we moved it to April 8th, but it doesn't mean that it still hasn't been 2 years of the podcast.
Yeah, 2 years. It was a wild run the first time, and you've just blown up so much. It's been so cool to watch everything and just the whole network really expanding, and I love it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. We've got a lot of cool sponsors. John Green Logistics is the sponsor of the day today, everyone, sponsoring the live stream, and we appreciate that. So today, it took a little bit. I've been following Stephanie Stuckey and her journey rebuilding the Stuckey's brand. And this is a brand that goes across America. Heck, I even had my dad over last week, and I'm showing him the spring box. You can't see it. It's in the corner. I go, Dad, do you remember this brand? Do you remember when we used to travel from California to Florida and to Delaware and to Connecticut? And he's looking at it, and he's rubbing his face. He's like, God, it looks familiar. He couldn't pin it. He really couldn't. And then I started getting into it, and he's just like, okay. He's like, gas stations, rest stops, right? He starts thinking about it. We did those long trips across country, Maddie. So it's kind of one of those things where when we see it now, right, we're getting into our, I say almost 40s, and we're like, man, that's us as kids. We saw this stuff, right?
Yeah, it's super nostalgic to go back there. And the Stuckey's that we have in our town, it's over in the Mims Scottsmore area. So it's like 10 minutes from the JGLC headquarters, which is super cool. So we all kind of grew up going there.
Which we will be at on Monday, everyone, just so you know. So we will be doing another video. Maddie and I will be live it's Mims, or I keep saying Titusville area, on Monday, April 11th. And we're going to do some videos with John Green Logistics, and we're definitely going to be stopping by the Stuckey's store. So I'm excited for that because the closest one to me is like 300 miles north because I'm on the other side of Florida. You know what I mean? It's like almost in Georgia compared to going across the state.
I know. When we were talking about it, you're like, you gotta go to one. And I was like, I have one right down the road. So
I'm like
that was a good idea.
I get like sometimes like when I see him on the road, I'm like, oh my God, a Stuckey's. My wife's like, here we go again. He's gonna go in and like go to the whole section again. He's gonna buy. But my wife eats everything I buy. But it's like it's almost like I'm like a tourist when I go in there. So
yeah, they have so many unique things, which is really cool to see, and the kids definitely love it.
Oh, all the time. And again, they've got coffee cups. Okay, I mean, I've got my spring box, but I've got this coffee cup. This is a Stuckey's cup. I've already used this many times. But yeah, they've got a lot of stuff that you traditionally, when you go into like a restaurant or even a gas station, when I went into, one, the snacks are good, but then obviously the little things that you get with it. I've gotten the Stuckey's history book, right? I've gotten some of the other items that you can buy. So it is. It's like I said, it's just a cool item. And watching Stephanie's story, as John Pandle said, he goes, listen. He goes, this is like watching a car, he goes, brought from the junkyard on cinder blocks now into NASCAR, right? So it's a transformation of like the ages to watch. I mean, Stephanie has been involved in politics. She was an attorney. Listen, she's been in so many things outside of the produce and supply chain industry, right? And now family business, of course, always been in the family business, known what was going on, but then took her career into another point, purchased the organization, and now making this literally grand slam, towards the future with the company. So I'm excited to be here and just getting ready to get her on the line here. So should we go ahead and present the video and then take off and then get Stephanie on the line?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I made a little video yesterday. Patrick had the great idea for me to go over there, bring a green transport truck. So we did that. And then I did a little tour of our Stuckies here in Mims, Florida.
All right, let's take a look at it.
Inside Stuckey's in Mims, Florida. Pretty cool. I've actually been here before. I work about 10 minutes from here. T-shirts and the wall of name cups. My name is never on those cups ever, but that's okay. I'll show you one of my favorite things. It's a real American alligator. Pecan. I'm interested to know how you guys say it. This is gonna be delicious. I'm excited to try
that. So that was awesome. I'm so excited that we had the joint idea to get that done.
Yes, and that's the area where we're gonna go eat on Monday.
I'm excited about that for sure.
Really cool. So I told you I had a surprise, but I couldn't tell you obviously what it was because it was a surprise. Now you know that your name made the wall of mugs or cups.
Yeah, it did.
Name's never on there, which is totally fine. So you will be getting this on Monday.
Oh,
your own mug with your name on it. But the best part about this is not only is your name on here, but your last name can be a first name. So you get two. Lucky duck.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I always think it's funny because one other person's name that will never be on there is my son Ty. It's just T-Y. Everybody thinks it's Tyler and they'll get it, but it's not. It's just T-Y. So, all right. Well, Maddie, I appreciate that. We'll see. I'm going to see you on Monday. I'm going to throw you back to the green room. And I say we go ahead and get our featured guest on the line today. But you know what? I did think about this for a second. Maddie, we have to ask Stephanie the question, though, don't we? We actually do. I just forgot about that. We need to get Stephanie Stuckey on the line and get a first question over her. So let's get her through the green room. Stephanie, how are you?
I'm doing great. And you know what, Maddie? I have an alligator head from Stuckey's that I keep on my desk. So
legendary.
I love these. And I actually met the woman, her and her husband make these.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was so cool to see.
And they use every piece of the gator. They use the meat, they use the head, every piece. So I feel so much better. I initially had some qualms about selling these alligator heads, but it's like completely from the snout to the tail, every part is used.
Yeah, no, I loved it. And it's right in the middle of the store, right in the front.
Yeah.
I told you that was my favorite thing.
They're classic. You have to have an alligator head if you drive through Florida.
Agree.
Or if you live in Florida. I mean, I'm just saying the kids love them and they're awesome. Well, Maddie,
can't eat your Florida card if you don't have an alligator head.
It's true. Or if you haven't tried alligator, like when you become part of the South is when you have an alligator head or you've eaten alligator. And it's one of those things. I was told that the last trade show we went to when they were serving alligator with sweet habanero salsa.
Yeah, there's a lot of alligator jerky these days. There's any kind of jerky. Have you noticed that has just taken off?
Of course.
You'll see that in any of these C-stores, and alligator jerky's a thing. So
Hey.
no excuse for not trying alligator.
I'll try it. Listen, I'll try it. Well, here's the question, Stephanie, and
I was avoiding the question. I knew it was coming.
No, I'm gonna let Maddie tee it up because we've got a lot of comments already in the chat that are saying, "Go ahead, Maddie."
Yes. So I've been like purposely not listening to all the things you've been on because I know you're going to say it. And I wanted to hear from you here. So is it pecan or pecan?
So I agree with Mary, but we are in the minority. I'm originally from Middle Georgia. Yes, thank you. Pecan. But I get so many jokes whenever I let that slip and people are like, where are you from? I am from Middle Georgia. Yeah, I'm in the heart of pecan country. But my grandfather said they are pecans when you pick them and pecans when you sell them. So his logic is whatever the customer says, you mimic what they say, because we are trying to sell our product, which is in the produce business. And that really is the core of everything Stuckey's does. I know we're also known for the snow globes and this is a great classic you'll find in the Florida stores, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're known for all this other stuff, but we started as a pecan stand on the side of the road, and we fell out of family hands for decades. My grandfather sold the company, so we suffered a terrible downfall. I bought the company back 2 years ago. Really flattered, Patrick, that you said I really knew what I was doing. I didn't. I had not been involved with the business. I've had to learn a lot in a really short period of time. But our comeback really hinges upon selling pecans. We're all things pecans, candies, snacks. We make them for the produce department.
We got them all.
Yeah, we have raw, we have pieces, we have pecan meal. We're in the snack department.
So Maddie, which one are you adapting to then? And are you gonna pecan it or pecan it? Which one are you gonna?
I go back and forth.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're saying. Like if it's a pecan pie, that's right. Kind of what I would say. But if I was picking something off a shelf, I would probably say the pecans.
Oh, all right. Well,
yeah.
Thank you for answering my question.
But I'll go back and forth. Wild boar, Chorzio. Gosh, some of these comments.
Oh no, we'll get to those. We're gonna get to a lot of those. So, all right, Maddie, we'll throw you back to the green room, and we're gonna get some of these comments and some of these things.
Maddie, love the video. It's awesome. Thank you for stopping. I'm so glad the stores were stocked because we've been low on inventory with supply chain issues. I was like, phew.
It was great. It was stocked.
I'm gonna set you up with the owner. He's super nice. We don't own or operate any of our stores, but we supply them with product, and we obviously work very closely with them. It's a license, so it's a nice owner. I'll connect.
We'll get to we're gonna get another more feature on that spot next week too. So Maddie, we'll catch you back at the end of the show. All right, so Stephanie, now it's just you and I. We've got a lot of comments already feeding through. We'll get a couple out already while we're going to get going, but Jay Gardner stopped in. He's juicing across America. I stop in at Stuckey's when I'm out on the road. And he also said, is Maddie driving the big truck? No, she had Jeremiah with her. She had another person with her. And then obviously Mary said another comment to the pecan, but she had, Stephanie, I had a pecan tree in my yard in Savannah, Georgia. So couple cool comments. You got a couple cool fans already on the line here, a couple followers as well. So we're going to get to some of these as well. I'm actually very happy to have you on the show today. Like I've told you, really just getting to know your story. Again, when we first talked, I was like, wait a minute, you are in the produce industry. I was like, almonds, pecans. I was like, these all used to grow around me in California. So I thought it was relevant. And, the produce and supply chain industry, Stephanie, is going through a change. 2020 hit us all hard because we were like, hey, we're just a sales, type hustling, get behind the desk, get behind a phone, go visit your customer, get in front of them, go to their stores. And then all of a sudden was like, boom, no, you can't do it this way. Well, we started realizing digital marketing was really good. Building a brand. A lot of times we commoditize our oranges or our cucumbers or our asparagus or our apples, and we don't go after that brand like we should, right? So again, watching, as I say, what you were doing. What I meant, what I do mean by that is, entrepreneurship, and you just took it and said, I'm going to run with this and see what happens. I'm not saying you knew the whole playbook, right? Not saying you knew what was going to happen, but what you did say is, I'm going to get this going. This is my family's legacy. This is a brand, right? And let's see how we can expand this. And your background is not in the entrepreneurship space, marketing space, right? So there has been a lot of that restructure, rebrand, things you've had to go through. So let's do it. Let's talk about this crazy, I would say, structure that you're going through. And you've been saying it on over and over again. You're bootstrapping and you're creating a model from scratch again.
That's right. And my background is I'm an attorney. I was a public defender for a decade. Then I was a state representative for 14 years. And I transitioned from there to being an environmental attorney and advocate, and worked as an environmental attorney for several years before becoming head of sustainability for the city of Atlanta. Happy in that career when I got the opportunity to buy my family's brand that had fallen out of our hands for a long time and was in sad shape. So there's a good question. I know you'll probably moderate that, Patrick, but I will touch upon the vertical integration issue. I bought the company as is. And I think the hardest thing, if you have a family company, and I think a lot of people in the produce business, you'll see generations with a family farm or produce operation, it goes down from generation to generation. And sometimes if you're the third generation or later, you have to look at what is making the business profitable and let go, which is hard because there's an emotional attachment to a family business, but let go of what's not working. And when I acquired the company, I realized over 80% of our revenue was from the sale of product. Yet we have been outsourcing our product for decades. So the way that we could really do more of what was financially profitable for us was to get a better handle on our production. So we got an SBA 504 loan. I got a business partner who's a third generation pecan farmer. So he knows pecans and he knows manufacturing. He's been doing shelling and processing for a while. So jointly, we bought a pecan shelling plant and a candy plant, and also a fundraising business that focuses solely on selling pecans to charitable organizations. And that's a very healthy business. And we're also exporting pecans. So that's driving the bulk of our revenue. We do get about 10-ish% of our revenue from licensing stores, and we have 68 licensed locations. So they are an important part of our portfolio because they generate a lot of sales for us. But most of our sales are coming from the product, and we're selling to third-party retailers as well. So you'll see us in grocery channels, you'll see us in C-store channels, you'll see us in gift stores, state parks, amusement parks. We're in Dollywood. So more and more, we're just rapidly expanding. We're in the process of trying to acquire a distribution facility and expand the candy operations. So we're growing.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, I'd say it's a growing brand, right? So you're working on growing the brand out more. You're working on its products, and that's great. I mean, the strategies of, again, think about the farmer, right? Importing, exporting, the supply chain, that whole grower background. I mean, so there are so many aspects of it. You've taken it a little bit different, approach, as some people say, oh, great, you're going to caramelize it with sugar all over our almonds and our pecans. But you got to realize there's also added value to this, right? People have to remember too, everything is about added value. And, sometimes we have to realize too, like even potato chips, as much as people eat potato chips, they are a raw product of the fancy, the choice, actual good potatoes that go in the bags and get sold, right? So, I mean, we make potato chips off a lower grade. So there's all different items that get used for any processing, anything. I mean, I used to do raisins for a few months, and how they process the yogurt raisins or chocolate covered raisins, right? Listen, it's still eating produce. Everybody eats it a little bit different way, right? It's okay. It's definitely okay. But what I think is cool, and John has had a lot of points. John Pandel is from Pandel Brothers. They sell grapes out of Delano, California. him and I talk about you all the time. We talk about the journey. We talk about, and I mean, he's a road warrior, so he's always
Yay.
on the road. He's always traveling, right? He texted me a picture and said, "Hey, what better snack to have for tomorrow's session than a Stuckey's pecan roll?" So it's fantastic to see that. But John's interested, and a lot of us are, like he said, learning about the vertical integration. So I'm glad you did address that, the manufacturing, the direct to consumer sales. I've seen a lot of the gas stations that you're co-merged with, and you and I have talked about how you're going to be hitting out more retail, right? You're going for
Yes.
more infrastructure. So so if we do walk into a store in the South, whether it's a Piggly Wiggly or a Winn-Dixie or even a Publix,
Yeah.
right, that we're going to be able to get a Stuckey's bar here hopefully soon, right?
Exactly. That's our aim. But I also want to say, with regard to kind of the healthy aspect of what we do, we offer in-shell pecans, we offer raw pecans, we sell pecan pieces. I'm going back and forth. Pecan meal. Hopefully someday we can do the oil and the milk. And there's actually, you can do pecan hummus, which is to die for, delicious and healthy. And we have roasted sea salt pecans that are healthy. So it's consumer choice. And I think it's really important because we also sell candy, we sell pralines, divinity, pecan log rolls, fudge, that people have selection in what they want in their food products. And so some of our stuff is not so healthy. It's a treat yourself moment and you eat it on the rare occasion, but there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of Florida sweet treats, right?
No,
Just
there's
give
not.
yourself a little treat, but
It's
nut
okay.
based. Because I know
Listen,
you mentioned Alabama, almonds. Nut diets are becoming more popular, or nut centric diets. And so I think there's just an incredible growth market there. And not to bash the almond or the pistachio or peanuts, which are a legume, or any of the other walnuts, black walnuts are grown, filbert, all grown in the US. The pecan is the only snack nut that's native to the US.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Very
So
interesting.
the almonds having trouble with sustainability and access to water in a drought ridden area. The pecan has less of those issues and is a more sustainable nut, in part because the product is grown naturally. Our crops are grown naturally in this country. So we're automatically suited to this environment. So I think that's
amazing.
also why people have sort of like Mary, who posted about having pecan trees in Savannah,
Mm-hmm.
quite often have an emotional attachment to the pecan because, especially if you're in one of the 20 states where they grow wild, you had them in your backyard. They were part of your home, part of your
True.
life.
It's true. Just like
Yeah.
citrus. I mean, it's the same thing with citrus.
Same
Back
with
in the early
citrus.
days, there was so much citrus,
Yeah.
everywhere. John's commenting. John, were there wild grapes out there, buddy? I want to hear a comment from you. But let's check out actually some of the comments, from some of our guests that are watching. Oh, geez, we got a few of them. Oh, since we're on John Pandal, John asks, what's a bigger grind, politics or business? Fundraising, meeting and greeting constituents or clients? Ooh.
All a grind.
Ooh. All a
a
grind.
different
I
ways.
agree. I mean, I agree. I
Yeah.
mean, if you've even lobbied for, I mean, you probably noticed being an attorney and being in,
Yeah.
I would say the state, it's, you get the lobbyists that go up. It's all a grind. You're just fighting and grinding, whether it's to pass a bill, whether it's to look at the next thing, it's always a grind. I agree. Same thing with produce.
And
Let's see,
I'm
here's a
still
long
doing
comment.
some politics, but I would say in a more nonpartisan way. But we definitely advocate for regulatory reform to help our industry. And
Yeah.
especially one that I want to see changed is tariffs. The tariffs right now are just killing us, where the best market for pecans is the Far East because pecans aren't grown there and they're considered a delicacy in countries like China. But the tariffs are 50%. They're prohibitive. Yeah, it used to be a major part of the Georgia pecan market would go over 80% would go to the Far East.
That's
And
amazing.
now it's slowed down considerably, but we're right near the port of Savannah. There's great opportunities to export, but we've got to get the tariffs under control. And that's something that's been under Republican and a Democratic administration. They have not fixed it.
Well, there are a lot of associations too that help
Yeah.
with, advocating for that. Hopefully you're a part of some of
That's
those.
right.
What,
Yeah,
what
you join associations and you leverage that voice.
Yeah, you have to power in numbers, right? Power in numbers. Here's another one from Michael Young. If Americans had a taste, it would be Stuckey's. Iconic
Yes.
pecan rolls and such a wonderful vibe for our post-pandemic re-emergence. What better way to get connected than to drive our country, meet real Americans, and enjoy the candies and the kitsch.
Thank you.
Hurrah, yes.
Yeah, we're an American-made product. My grandmother came up with the recipe when my grandfather was trying to gin up sales back in
Oh.
1935. And we've been making pecan log rolls for 85 plus years from American ingredients. Even when we outsourced it, it was from a Georgia plant. But we're 100% American made, all of our products.
I love it.
And we're sourcing as much as possible. We used to source our packaging, some of the packaging from China, but not anymore. We source from a company out of North Carolina now.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well,
Yeah, we did that during COVID. The delays were so long, and then the shipping with the increase for the shipping cargoes going way up. The containers are up to 30,000 per shipment. And so we switched to a local producer, manufacturer.
That's fantastic. Yeah, a lot of us did during the pandemic, and a lot of us had like the 50-50, right? We had people here in the States, and then we had our overseas, and then it's like everything came 8 weeks. At first it was like, don't worry, it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and now it's like 6 months.
6 months.
So,
yeah, 6 months.
It got behind, and we're actually going to have our packaging sponsors going to, come on and say a bit here in a moment.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, and you have to start factoring into the cost of goods, the delay, because during that 6-month wait, we were turning down accounts because we didn't have the product, because we didn't have the packaging, because it was stuck in the Panama Canal. We got stuck in that mess.
It's no good at all. Maddie goes back to your original comment, or said where you are. She loves Dollywood. And she said, I love Dollywood. Perfect place for Stuckey's to be. I totally agree. When I went to...
And that was through a broker. I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot of brokers in the produce industry.
But there's still Stuckey's product, and you're able to type in Stuckey's on your GPS and be able to find these places. That's what's cool about some of these places. You are.
Some of them.
Some of them. I did say some.
Yeah, we're working on getting that more user-friendly. We're upgrading the website. But yes.
A few others that we got. Let's see some of these other comments. I got some funny comments. Patrick, one of our other sponsors, jumped on and says, you have other co-hosts with a sad face. And then Maddie, I think Maddie jumped back and said, yeah, Ross, fancy sponsorship life. So the battle of the sponsors have begun on this. Here's one. Stephanie. So John Woodall says, no added sugar pecan rolls a possibility.
We get asked that a lot. It is definitely on the list, but right now we are just treading water to try to keep up with existing orders. And we don't have time to add a new product line, but absolutely. I get a lot of requests from diabetics for sugar-free offerings, and that's on the list. We want to be sensitive to our customer base and make sure we're delivering what you want. So it's on the list, but not yet. Sorry. But the raw pecans, you can eat those.
All right, there we go. John Pandle jumped back in on the tariff comment and said, tariffs on imported sugar, ? That I'm not sure of, to be honest with you.
I don't know, because we don't import our sugar. We get our sugar domestically.
I would say that's probably or you buy it from someone who maybe imports it and it's already here, or
we get ours domestic. I do know, and I should be more up to speed on this, but I do know that the issue for the Confectioners Association, I signed a letter on their behalf that went out to my congressman. My congressman happens to be chair of the ag committee. So that they really were excited that I lived in his district. So anyway, we reached out about the subsidies. So there's big sugar and the pricing is super high, and it hurts the candy manufacturers. That's my knowledge on sugar. That's our big sugar issue, is we need to price stabilize.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, here we go. We
All
got
the more
another.
reason to have a sugar-free product.
Yep, true. That's what I was gonna say. All more reason. All right, one other question. This one comes in from Josh Dubeck. What is your favorite fruit and vegetable, Stephanie Stuckey? And then he put a little pineapple there next to it. I'm taking that he
Mm.
loves pineapples, or maybe he knows you do.
So I have a question. I love avocados. What does that count
That is a
as?
fruit.
That's a fruit because
That
it's
is a fruit.
the
But my buddy Mike Chavez just jumped in and said he heard a rumor that pecan rolls cured COVID, and as well as so did California citrus. So, hey,
wow.
I'm just saying,
I
avocados.
wish that were true.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, it could be, but we have another laughing.
Oh, can I say my favorite vegetable is Brussels sprouts?
Oh, that is mine. So I'm a citrus guy.
Mm.
I love citrus, and everybody knows that. Avocados are my second favorite fruit, and then yeah, Brussels sprouts, hands down,
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts.
How do you like to cook them?
I'm more of an air fryer type of a guy, and so what
Mm.
I'll do is, it's kind of crazy. I just had to tell my mom this the other day. So I'll kind of line a bowl with some olive oil. I'll cut the Brussels sprouts in half.
Yeah, cut
I'll
them in
put them
half.
in there, spray them a little bit more. I get actually pork seasoning. Okay, I
Mm.
put pork seasoning on it, kind of rustle it around, add vinaigrette onto it. I'll air
Yeah.
fry that for about 15 minutes. About 2 minutes from them being done, I'll
Wow.
actually add real bacon bits as well. I take those out, I flop them over, I put feta cheese on top, and I sprinkle with a light sugar-free maple syrup.
Oh my gosh, this is making me so hungry. That sounds amazing.
That's like an every Sunday treat. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I do mine in a big Lodge cast iron skillet, but very similar, where I will stir fry them with a little bit of, I use pecan oil and salt, and then the balsamic vinaigrette. So kind of a similar, I love that balsamic taste with Brussels sprouts. I'll also eat them baked.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. And I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat the gator tails.
It's okay. Well, we have a vegan on here as well, so I believe he said it, but Jay Gardner is a vegan, so I know he mentioned he doesn't eat meat either. But I have to throw this comment out here. Okay, this one's a good one. Ready? You're gonna love this.
Yeah. We need a Stuckey wood, right?
We need a Stuckey wood, everyone. That's what we need. We need a Stuckey wood. I love that.
I aspire to that. I actually aspire to someday having a road trip museum, because it does not exist.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I mean, we have a lunchbox museum in this country. I just recently visited the purse museum. There's a friggin' museum for everything, and there's not a road trip museum. And think how much fun we could have with a road trip museum. And 100%. I have so much memorabilia.
100%. Listen, I've been to Route 66. I've done it with my old family, my when I was a kid, right? And I've done it with my family, with myself, my wife, and my kids. And there are some museums, but they give their history of their time on Route 66, but not an overall history of the entire, segue of it. I think that'd be really cool. And of course, I told you, you and I, you need to fly into Tampa. We're going to take the Jeep from Tampa to Eastman, Georgia. We're going to go citrus fields. We're going to go blueberry fields. We're going to stop at packing houses. And then, like I said, we might even hit up some indoor growers, and then get to the pecan facility. That's what I think. That's a road trip.
We got it. I'm down there all the time. I'm on the board of Bell's department stores based in Bradenton.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's right outside of Tampa.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
I'm down there 4 times a year.
That trip's I'm telling you, is gonna have to come.
Shop at Bell's, and they're carrying our product in some of the stores now.
Oh,
but
I didn't
it's
know
a
that.
wonderful. It's now run by the 5th generation.
Wow.
Very wonderful business.
Wow.
And I was in Tampa about 6 weeks ago, and I had never been to Ybor Village. What's it called?
Where is it?
It's outside of Tampa. Ybor.
Oh, Ybor.
Ybor.
I was like, I've never heard of Ybor.
That is so cool. All the old
cigar capital of Florida.
Yeah, and they have wild chickens and roosters running through the town square.
Yes, they do. I've been there many times. I had my bachelor party there in 2008. Actually, it was popping back in 2008. It was crazy, but Yeah, it's
Ybor.
definitely a city. Yeah, Maddie just said, haha, yeah, Ybor, it's a crazy place. Let's do this. So
I gotta make sure I pronounce it right.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. Trust me. There's so many things.
Now nobody's going to trust me on how to say
Pecan versus
I can't
Pecan, right?
say Ybor.
Ybor. Trust me, it's totally fine. Well, listen, this is a perfect time. Let's hear from our packaging sponsor. I think this is a great video to talk about their bio-able solutions. So let's take a quick break and hear from them.
As we all know, traditional plastics do not rapidly degrade. If not properly recycled, they build up in landfills, pollute our environment, and ultimately disrupt our ecosystems. As a leader in the packaging industry, Severand is excited to introduce bio-able solutions, the newest addition to our family of high-performance packaging. Enabled with bio-assimilation technology, our bio-able solutions products are 100% recyclable and uniquely formulated to fully degrade in both marine and terrestrial environments, leaving behind no microplastic waste. Bio-able Solutions by Severand is a true sustainable option for the everyday consumer that directly addresses plastic and food packaging sustainability. High-performance packaging in a responsible format.
What'd you think?
Wow.
That was pretty cool, huh?
Do you have someone from BioAble on?
Listen, if you are on from Severand, please comment. They are actually one of our sponsors to the podcast as well. So I don't know, I can't see on the list of anybody if they are on unless they comment. So
I am interested in the shelf stability of their packaging.
Oh, that's a good question. So
that is the biggest challenge that we have with sustainable packaging is that it does not get to the 6 to 9 month shelf life that the C-store business in particular wants. We're already doing things like the nitrogen flush to try to, get some of the oxygen out that expedites degradation of food. Then is somebody on there?
Somebody is on. So Jeff Walken actually just responded. And so he did say Jeff Walken is on.
Yay!
Jeff is the director of marketing. So Jeff, we'll have you reach out to Stephanie. We'll get you two connected. And we put that little commercial together. They put it, obviously a few months ago when they brought out the bio-able solution.
Yeah, it's great.
And then we thought it was a great idea because as looking at, again, some of your packaging, right? I have it and I have all of it, Stephanie. I ordered the spring box, so I have all of it here.
So hold up the pouch, the stand-up pouch. Yeah, well, more so the nuts. Because we actually outsource the taffy. We don't have the taffy machine. So we make that in-house and we get the packaging, and that foil line packaging has a long shelf life and customers love it, but it's not recyclable. And having been head of sustainability for the city of Atlanta with a passion for recycling, it does hurt me that we haven't figured that piece out yet. It is beautiful packaging though. I'm really happy with it. I would just love to see if there's a solution. And I've looked into reusing it, but that gets super costly.
I opened some. This is one of my favorite, the Hunky Dory.
Okay, so I see a comment. It's currently engineered for a 24-month life cycle. So we need to talk. I would be interested.
Boom. All right, we'll get you.
A lot of us, we want to do the right thing. It's just we need to also be financially sustainable as well as environmentally sustainable.
I agree. I definitely agree. Well, we'll get some of those comments. We're going to get back to chatting a little bit more because I want to talk about your journey now into retail. Because when we first talked, I was kind of like, hey, this is what I do. And you were like, yeah, I'm not interested. And I was like, no. I'm like, I want to involve you in this community of produce people because we're all watching your journey. And so I wanted to chat a little bit about that because obviously as you're getting into retail, and we know this as the produce industry, is that we do need distributors. We do need food service distributors to help us get to the next level, to help us get to the Aldis, to the Sprouts, to all of these different places, right? And then I was like, remember I told you, I was like, Stephanie, I'm like, I know tons of wholesalers. And you were like, And I was like, I just want to have a conversation because obviously this is a brand that a lot of us are watching. And then why wouldn't we want to be a part of something that you're growing to see, hey, wait a minute, this is a brand that we know and love. Why shouldn't we all just come together and have a conversation? So let's talk about that. And let's give our listeners an aspect of what you're trying to do in that world, or in that getting into retail and getting into produce, because you already are.
Yeah, I love the comment, the hashtag trade show junkie. So I'm with you on that. We rely heavily on trade shows to get access to some of our retail customers, and also associations like the National Grocers Association. And we need to get more involved with the produce business. But we rely on distributors in part to get our product in on the shelves. And as you know, in the business, I'm assuming most people on the call are in the business, most retailers will demand that. That's the ticket, that's the price of admission to get on the shelf at Harris Teeter, for example. Or we're talking with Wawa, if you're familiar with that brand, they're in Florida. You have to go through their distributor, and that's McLean. So it's a requirement. So we've had to figure out the distributor price model, and also what the different additional costs are. It's not just the distributor cost, it's the promotions, it's the margin structure that they expect you to hit. And it's also making sure that you have a solid sell-through rate, because if your product is not moving off their shelves, a lot of these retailers are going to do that 80-20 analysis at the end of the year, and 20% at the bottom are not going to make the cut to be reordered and get back in their price book for the following year. So I'm having to learn a lot in a really short period of time. I hope I gave a pretty good understanding. And then we're also looking at brokers, right? We're being kind of strategic about that, because they take a percentage. So we want to make sure that the brokers we're working with really do have solid relationships to get us in the right distribution channels.
Yeah, no, that's what it's about. And relationships is very key. As you know, obviously bringing in your new partner, as you said, a lot of relationships on the other side of the industry, right? And the same thing with produce. We actually have a couple wholesalers on the chat line as well.
Yeah.
So they're watching, they can see. John Pandel is our road warrior, just so you know. John, put in the chat if you can. I'm going to guess. I think he goes to 28 trade shows a year. I'm just going to guess. And I'm going to say, I mean, I thought I was a lot, doing like 12 to 13. And but yeah, John is definitely the road warrior. He's definitely on the road all the time. Ross Nelson actually just commented, said, John Pandel, I'm with you. Road trip.
Yay!
We're going to have some road trips. And it's going to be crazy. Maddie says he does 36 a year is what her guess was.
Wow.
He's at a lot. And I know you're at trade shows too. You're killing it. I've seen it on LinkedIn and a few others.
You got to work it.
But it's so true. I mean, even John said it again. It's like every channel has its, your options of where to go. How peculiar is it? Food brokers are required. Even for us, I know, John Pandel's a grape grower. Mike Chavez is a citrus grower on here. And a lot of it, you've got to go through the channels, the outlets, right? If you're going to go through the Walmarts, or if you're going to go through the Targets, their DCs are in, Carson, California, that what you have to do to get in there. And it's hard, right? I mean, how many times have you called and they're like, aren't you supposed to be in the grocery department? And you're like, well, I could be, but right. I mean, they want to pass you to the other department.
And that gets to the branding and the marketing, but also if you have a good broker that can help you navigate those relationships and make sure you're getting in the right channels and on the right shelves. But the challenge for me, because we're still new to this, is that sell-through piece, because we've been pretty good about getting the leads, getting people interested, getting on the shelves. I want to make sure we're getting those turns. And when our product is turning, here's a good example. We just got into Travel Centers of America. That's one of the trifecta of the truck stops, right? There's Pilot, Flying J, they have merged. There's Love's, and there's TA. Those are the big truck stop players, travel plazas. And we just got into TA. They're putting our pecan log rolls in all of their stores, and they're selling out like crazy. I'm getting reports from customers and also our sales reps who go in the stores and the displays are empty, which is a good problem to have, but it's making sure that your product is stocked, that it's turning, that it's in code date. So there's a lot of issues, not just getting your product physically on the shelves, but making sure it's continuing to turn.
Hey, the story of produce life, right?
Yeah. So any
youngest
advice,
learn.
suggestions? I'm a rookie. I am learning this as I go.
Hey, listen, I will tell you, as long as all of us, I mean, even from the experienced gents as John Pandel, to the young ladies and gents that are in the industry, it's crazy because it's all changing so fast too, right? I mean, even I grew up in the boomer lifestyles. I say my dad's a baby boomer, and that was like I'm a millennial, but I'm a baby boomer at heart. So it's like I'm still trying to change with the times as things are getting, I would say, more complicated in the supply chain, right? If it's
Yeah.
not one issue, it's another issue. So constantly changing, right, is a must. And I think that Stuckey's is doing that as well. You guys are changing with the times too. You're making it a more fun experience, for the consumer. You're bringing your brand to light. I mean, again, being able to walk in and see even the shelf space that you have on some of the gas stations. I told my wife one time we walked in, I said, man, citrus doesn't even get this much shelf space, right? It might in a grocery store if you have like, grapefruit, limes,
Yeah.
lemons, right? But you never see 14 different brands of oranges or 14 different brands
No.
of lemons, right? You only see one brand. And so to be able to see like the shelf space, it's interesting to see, how that can grow. And then if you do get into the retail space in a more heavier way, how can that be cross-marketed too with the other products, the other commodities, right? Because that's where I go to. It's like, if you're going to add something into the department, right? Like, who would have thought lemons and asparagus would be such a great added
Right.
value item? I mean,
Yes.
what more can we do, right, Stephanie?
That's such a great point. And we talked about that at the National Confectioners Association. It was the State of the Industry conference a couple of weeks ago. And they talked about how candy needs to be on the wine aisle, right? Because don't you like chocolate with wine? It's
Of course.
delicious. So it's those opportunities to co-brand and cross-market our products. Pecan should be in the produce aisle. We should also be in the baking aisle, right by the pie shells, right? And then
That's
we
very
want to be on
true.
the snack aisles. Another point you raised earlier was really important too, is how we learn to brand in the produce industry, because that is harder. How do you brand an orange? How do you brand a lemon? How do you make sure people are looking for your brand, your label slapped on that piece of produce? And we want to do that with the pecan. We want to be for the pecan what Planters is to peanuts, or the Wonderful Company. Boy, did they turn around the pistachio.
Right. Even the little pieces of citrus, the little clementines.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, those are amazing. I'm addicted to those. And whoever came up with the little cuties, they should get whatever the big award is for branding. I love little cuties.
It's how it works out. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
brand awareness. I mean, the same thing as like you see the sumo oranges, right? Or you see, we've got new brands that are coming out. Like we have Equifruit. They say it's the only banana you should buy, right? You're incorporating a brand to say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Buy me. I always bring up Steve Jobs' quote because it's one of my favorite quotes where he was like, you don't know what you want until I show it to you. And I've always loved that
Love
quote
it.
because that quote was when he brought to life, the iPhone,
Yeah.
the music device and the internet device. And it's like, you don't all of a sudden, when you walk into a store, you go, okay, I'm going to get pecans. Okay. I'm going to get citrus. I know I need a tape. I know I need, toilet paper. Right. And then when you get to it and all of a sudden you see on the shelf, your mind goes into branding going, okay, do I want Greenwise or do I want Tropicana? Do I
Yeah.
want Flavor Wave or do I want Cuties? Right?
Yeah.
You don't know. You're not going to the store going, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get that Navel Orange that had that little star on it that one time that I bought 2 weeks ago. And then I'm going to go get the broccoli from this person, right? It's like your list doesn't say every brand name that you're buying on your list, right? It just says
Yeah.
the commodity of what you're buying.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's crazy.
And
Yeah.
I love that quote. I am going to use that. That is amazing. You don't know what you want till I show it to you. One of the most delicious things we make, we really haven't mass produced yet, which are barbecue pecans.
Ooh.
But the choices are endless. More and more consumers are wanting this fusion blend for their flavoring. So you'll see a habanero chili lime spice on your nuts.
I'm telling
Right.
you.
And
I'm
so
telling you.
we could do that for the pecan. The great thing about the pecan is that it absorbs flavor. It's really good at that. And it actually has like a natural buttery taste when you eat it raw. So if you layer that buttery taste with something like a barbecue, it's amazing.
Well, even like, what about this? If you had like 3 different flavors of the pecans, you can just put those on salad, sprinkle those over some salad. Do you want a little spicy salad? Put some
Yeah.
avocado, cut some avocados for on top of your salad, and put some spicy like sriracha pecans on top. Stephanie, like,
So we've got to show them that,
that's
right?
a game
People
changer.
don't know what
That's
they
a
want
game
until you show
changer.
it to them.
Let's see a couple other comments. We have a lot of comments coming through, and we're not going to get to all of them, Stephanie, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We have checked the code dates. No sugar pecans. Oh, let's go back to Michael Chavez's comment. Pecan oil, where has that been all my life?
It's so good. Yes. And I wish my business partner were on the line because he's an expert on all things pecan. There's something about the oil that's special where it can take higher temperatures without sacrificing quality. I don't want to be misquoted on that, but I cook with pecan oil.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
All right,
and
next
pecan
one.
milk, really, really good. It needs to be more shelf stable. We don't make that, but I drink it.
We'll have to check that out, everyone. What is the best pecan produce pairing? Oh, so what goes good with? I mean, I would think of salads right off the bat because I said
Salad.
that.
Yeah.
Salad.
Strawberries, a lot of people will do that salad that's spinach with strawberries and feta cheese, a little balsamic vinaigrette, and not raw pecans, but you roast them. Ooh. Roasted and salted. That's yummy. And then pecans and fish. That's amazing.
I haven't tried that.
Roasted trout. Back when I was eating meat, I would eat that. But that's pecan meal. So instead of using cornmeal and some of the other coatings, sometimes people will crush up potato chips. Pecan meal is terrific for baking.
I love it.
And it's super healthy. It has among the highest antioxidant content of any nut. And it's also really high in the carb content. So the pecan and I think it's the walnut, but I know the pecan is one of the 2 that is the best for the keto diet.
Oh, dang. All right. Couple cool facts here. Let's move to Cindy's comment, which is a big one. Cross merchandising makes so much sense, but grocers have struggled for years to figure out what department gets the ring for the sale. Very true. Yes. They need to be more consumer centric, not operations driven. Oh gosh, that story of the life of trying to get a retailer on board, right, to some of these things. But yeah, you're right.
Amen. And I'll tell you, I want to get more engaged in the National Grocers Association. So I think so much of that is us in the produce field being more engaged with the grocer industry and getting to know the grocers, the managers, and understanding their concerns. And I saw one of the comments that they'd seen me at the NGA event. That was my first NGA event, but will by no means be my last.
That John Pandel. I'll have to get you in touch with John Pandel and Mary Heslip, 2 people that are involved in the produce associations here. And we'll get you in touch with them so you could chat with them on the NGA because I know both of them go to that. Let's keep moving down. We have Jason Green that said, I brought pecan logs, or he bought probably pecan logs in Hobby Lobby store years ago.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at how much old-fashioned candies they sell. They do sell a lot of different items in Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, I've noticed that. So that's a rich opportunity for us. We're looking at stores like that, like Joann's Fabric, Michael's Craft Store, Hobby Lobby, all of those. When you get to the checkout area, if you shop, I'm a shopper at those places, you wind around.
Yep, you do.
Right? And it's very clever how they do that. And they stock it full of nostalgic candies. It was
impulse purchases right there. All the impulse when you're walking out, you're right. They've got candy and they have so many different brands that you've never heard of right there. Right.
Yeah.
So I have seen those. Let's see.
Let's see. So we're working on that. We're trying to get into those markets.
No, that's cool. Oh yeah, John Pandel. I said I attended NGA to listen to ESS in person. Both presentations were good. Oh, and he also said 25 events, of which 12 are trade shows.
Woo!
Guest lecturing at Cal Poly next month as well.
Way to go.
Whoa.
Yeah, and if you're like me, so many of those you drive to, because it's so expensive to ship, especially now.
Oh yeah.
That I'll rent a van and drive.
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, we're going to the Piggly Wiggly show in May if they have it, just based on the conditions of COVID. But
Yeah.
we'll drive here from Orlando, obviously, up to Alabama. And I'm going to be going with Jay Gardner with Citrus America, but we'll pop everything in the back of his van, right? And we'll put the juicers in the back there and just head straight up there.
Yeah.
And yeah, juicing
Just
across
load up.
America. We'll be stopping at those Stuckies for sure.
Yeah. My dream is to have a little scamper van, and have that to, if I need to, I could pull over and sleep in it.
You need a Airstream with like the Stuckey's logo on the side of the Airstream. Like it's going to be, the YouTube channel is going to be Traveling with Stephanie, the road trip with Stephanie. I totally can see it now. Let's get a couple more comments before we get to before we let you go for today. So Jason Green also said, I was at the food and candy buyer. I bought many of those brands at the stores. I'll email you. I'm having lunch with the buyer of the food category next week.
Woo-hoo!
Look at that. See, look at that. Just for being on, we got a couple things going on. So that's so cool. What I like about this community too is we talk about this is that, everybody wants to help, see each other succeed. We want to help our products get into the stores, because there are a lot of big brands out there that kind of, trample over us. They just trample right through us, and we don't get a chance to, to have our day, right? Or, to say, hey, this is who we are. I'm over here. I'm a small business, and this is what I do. So, Stephanie, it's been awesome having you, on the line today. If people do want to reach out to you, I have some of your items up here, Instagram, Facebook. I know that they could find you on social media. I would definitely say we are not giving out Stephanie's email or phone number on this show. You can reach out to her on LinkedIn if you see her at, Stephanie Stuckey. But Stephanie, if you want to tell them where they can, get a hold of you, buy some of your gifts and packages, go ahead.
Yeah, well, Stuckeys.com is how you can order. Thank you so much for being a customer. You can find me on most social media channels. I'm on TikTok even. Been having fun with that. No judgment, please. So at Stuckey Stop, all one word. And actually my email is on my LinkedIn profile page. I prefer that to messaging me on LinkedIn because I get way too much spam. So yeah, reach out. I welcome connecting with all of you. It's just been a pleasure.
It's been fantastic, Stephanie. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you involved in the produce and supply chain. We look forward to getting you out to one of our events. Like I've told you before, we're hoping to bring you out, let you walk the trade show floor, and meet some really great people. So Stephanie,
let's work the trade show.
I'm telling you, we'll have a lot of fun. So thank you so much.
Yes, we're working on shippers. I need to get all these comments.
Oh, we will. We'll have everything for you. Trust me. We're going to have more conversations after this. So again, Stuckies, you didn't even see my shirt. I'm not even sure if you saw it. That came in my package.
Oh, I saw it. Thank you.
We appreciate you.
I have one around here, but thank you. That's my favorite shirt.
It is mine. It took me a while to get some of this stuff because they've been sold out on the site. So now that I have the sizes, now I have a few of them ordered. So we're good to go. So appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Well, everyone, Stephanie Stuckey with Stuckey's Corporation was just on the line. We had a great time with Stephanie. And again, if you want to check her out, you can check her out on Stuckeys.com. You can get some of these items, the gift box, the spring box that I ordered. It's got all kinds of goodies in here. Ty, my son, loves the birthday cake popcorn. Dropped a few of them as well. Just great overall talking with Stuckey's. You can get them on Instagram. You can get them on Facebook and Twitter. She also said on TikTok, which I'm going to check out. So TikTok at Stuckey's Stop. And again, I want to thank all of our sponsors: Ag Tools, Flavor Wave, Noble Citrus, Buck Naked Onions, Awahi Produce, and John Green Logistics, everyone. Overall, it's been a fantastic show. And as I say, we'll see you in the fields